when you take an edible, like you feel that shit in your toes.
I felt it in my eyelashes. Welcome to the Allegedly podcast with your sexy hosts, Katie and Dakota.
Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on?
Katie
Hey,
loves her new
everyone.
professional setup.
I'm just like super professional. I got a brand new microphone. It's not a huge deal, but she's a podcaster. So what can she do? You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks great, sounds great, feels
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. You know what? It feels great to be at this status that I bought myself a microphone.
It's something about the equipment that does make your status a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like I'm gonna have to remember that I can't forget the little people.
Right. I might have to come over and do a little rap in that here soon.
Honestly, please
Get
drop
in the
some
booth.
beats.
Get in
I
the
would
booth at Mama
love,
Mama and Daddy's house.
I would love that.
So we
Um,
have a little story time, don't we?
yeah. So we talked a little bit recently about being a legal eagle, and smoking the marijuana. So, so we wanted to kind of talk about some stories that we have. And I think as a recap, if you hadn't already tuned in to our unpopular opinions episode, Dakota brought up that he is not a huge fan of the MJ. So it sparked a thought for myself, and I'm sure I'm sure Dakota on some
Some good
because I
memories.
got because I got high memories. Yeah.
Those little
Do
marijuana memes.
yeah. Do you want to let her rip?
Yeah,
No,
so
no pun intended.
so I guess we can both talk about our first ones and then we'll kind of go from there. But I think the first time that I did that, I didn't actually smoke just because I've always been kind of, I don't know. I feel like for some reason smoke doesn't agree with me. Maybe it's just because of my inexperience or whatever. But even if I'm ever in a club, I remember I was in a club that was smoking a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
remember just really feeling like I was hyperventilating in there, and I have no idea why. I'm just super
Oh my.
sensitive to the smoke. So the first time whenever I had someone visit me in Colorado, I was like, oh, we should have a little celebratory moment with this legal substance that's now available to me being a Colorado resident.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and got some little Eddies and I took
That's
them,
bold. That's bold.
isn't it? So I
Mm-hmm.
know most people say that it's not a good idea to do edibles for your first time, but here we were. I'm just ready. I'm always ready for a nice little snacky.
Totally.
That night that I took it, I was already pretty tired, so I felt like it kind of I kind of passed out before I even really felt anything. I didn't even really get any sort of effects. And then once my guests left, we never really kind of got back into it just because it was hike, drive back and repeat, hike, drive back, repeat, and we were just too tired to do it. So then as someone who used to have off days on a weekday, I was super bored one weekday night by myself at my apartment. I was like, ooh, I should have a little gummy or two. And I was like, one wasn't
Or
enough.
two?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
So I
no.
was like, one wasn't enough last time. I'm gonna have a little double dosage. So I popped them open and I remember I just could feel the tips of my eyelashes super intense for some reason. And I
Oh.
felt I remember trying to go to sleep that night, and I specifically remember I'm not sure if I'm gonna die or not from this experience. So I remember getting out of bed, going to the cabinet and putting the gummies on the counter and being okay, if someone finds my body here, they'll know exactly why, because here are the materials that got me to this state. So
Crime
that was my
solved
little
right away.
that was my first little experience.
So you kind of put me on the spot. I cannot remember my first experience. What I do remember though is whenever you were in high school, did you ever hear about synthetic?
Not
Um,
really.
oh, so it's
And by
like
not really, I mean no. I was a very little sheltered
So for those listening that are frequent the marijuana, please know I don't frequent. So I may explain this completely wrong, but synthetics I think are like maybe kind of like weed or like kind of I don't know, it's like a drug.
Right.
Like this is not a good explanation, but um what I remember, because I can't remember the first time I tried marijuana, but the first time I tried this synthetic, it was called K9, and
Mm.
I was in high school, definitely 18. Absolutely, I was 18, 100%. Um, and I was in California at the time because we're not a legal eagle here in Arizona. No, but I was with some friends and we tried this, and I just remember like we were laying on a driveway or something like that, and I started just like tripping balls. Like it was the craziest experience. I literally thought I was in a video game. I was so tripped out, and
Mm-hmm. It's weird, isn't it?
oh yeah, it scared the crap out of me. So, I don't remember much about it since it was so long ago, but yeah, I do remember being like, what the hell is this? And granted, that's not weed, but that was my first, I think, like smoking experience.
It's weird. I think the next time that I had it, I was with I feel like I'm like not disclosing who it is that came just because I don't know like what their vibe is on me outing them on their experience because not everyone's a legal eagle, but I had a friend come and we
Totally.
went to dinner like a block away from the house. We both took like one and a half because that was all I had left of the edibles from the first time I bought it. So we went to dinner and
Totally.
we were like, oh, like we hear the snack game is really good whenever you get high. So we went to the grocery store to get some snacks. There was like free, you know how they have like free sampling like cake or stuff like that up on the counters at grocery stores?
Yeah.
So it was almost as if it was like a magic moment where we ate this like cake substance and it was actually cornbread and we instantly like it overcame me in that immediate moment and we could
Oh,
not stop like we looked at each other, we could not stop laughing like uncontrollably, super embarrassing. Like I had like two parts of me where I was like I see myself from the outside and I'm embarrassed and I know people probably think that like what is this guy doing? And then internally, I like
right.
could not stop laughing, and it was like the funniest thing ever because we were just trying to like have a conversation, and we were like, "Is this cake or is this cornbread? Like, what is happening to me right now?" And then I remember like going through the whole store trying to find the right snack and trying to do a self checkout. It was a whole shit show. And then my first time smoking, it's just as you imagine. I was just coughing up a lung and had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I think that just because like I want to make this very, very clear because she is an employed gal. I do not do drugs. I am not a user of marijuana. But and I truly haven't in years. But the I feel like every single time I have smoked weed, it's like the first time every time because I literally that's how often I don't or I do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm choking. I am dying. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, I'm
the
like
worst thing
full on.
ever. Like I think I went to visit a friend in Denver a few
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and she got baby girl before we lit up, like she got baby girl a big glass of water. We were prepared
It's
for
hard. I don't know. I'm just so bad
um
at it.
yeah, I have tried many times to like seem like I'm cool and can handle it, and it just doesn't
I
happen.
I don't know if it's just like my experiences or if it's a normal thing, but how like when you're drinking, you kind of like ease into the moment, you know?
Honey, I don't ease. there is no there is no ease for me.
Well, I feel like no matter how hard I'm going, like I can kind of feel the wave coming, like it's like, oh, I see the wave, I understand the wave, like I know
I
how to
wish
approach the wave.
I would
Can't
love
relate.
I would love to be in the position where I would see and feel the wave. Like when I'm drinking, I just get hit like a brick wall.
See,
Like,
that's the thing. That's how I've felt with marijuana, where it just like it hits like immediately, or it just hits like all at once, like crashing over you. You weren't ready for it, and then like the actual like feeling after of being high, I've always been like I'm embarrassed. I don't want to be around anybody. I think I explained this on the unpopular opinion one, but it's just like a weird thing where I just like don't want to be around anyone, not in a social setting for sure.
yeah, that's interesting. It's almost kind of like a different form, but like post drinking anxiety. Like I know
Mm.
anytime I drink the next morning, no matter if I'm just like chilling at home, like that whole day, I have the most anxiety. Granted, I have done a lot of cringy things while intoxicated. And so I think that's where it stems from. But I know it's a pretty common thing. So I mean, I don't know as much, but it could be the same for the
Mm-hmm.
weedy.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. But that's it. That's
So
my experiences.
that's crazy.
Count
So
them off. 3.
1, 2, 3, count them. So you kind of touched a little bit on edibles, but that's where my story that I wanted to share lies from. And I just gotta say, I think edibles are the worst thing to be created ever. Like they take over your whole body. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you smoke a J, like it's just like a little like, you got your head going and like whatever. Like it's just a mood, it's a vibe. No,
Mm-hmm.
when you take an edible, like you feel that shit in your toes.
I felt it in my eyelashes.
Yeah, it's just like insane. So back in college, I was in California. Me and my best friends. No, truly, I was. Me and my best friends were going to Disneyland, and we were like, you know what? I think that this is the best opportunity for us to have edibles because
Mm-hmm.
like obviously you should be high at Disneyland. Fuck no, you should not be high at Disneyland.
It's
that shit
scary.
was that shit was the scariest day of my life. I I was absolutely the most unhappy person at Disneyland. Like I did not want to be there. I was so sketched out. It was legal in California and I was stressing that
Mm-hmm.
like every single person was, an undercover cop and I was going to be arrested. Like
Like it's
it
just
was
written on your forehead.
oh my god, yeah, it was like there could have been a huge marquee on top of me that said she is high as hell. Like no, it was such a scary experience. Like anything that my best friend tried to get us to do, she'd be like, oh, do you want to go like meet Minnie and Mickey? And I'd be like, sure. Like I was just like not happy because, my whole body was tingling. I was feeling it in my toes. I was probably feeling
Mm-hmm.
it at the end of my dead ends in my hair. Like I was feeling it
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. And I was so, so paranoid. Like so 10 out of 10 do not recommend. Terrifying experience. I think that like especially because if you just in my experience, if you just like smoke a joint, like you've got, maybe 2 to 3 hour high depending on how long or how much you puff.
Consume. We're so now. Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, we are just like your local weed advisor.
Your bud tenders.
My inexperience is showing. No, but I think that smoking from a joint doesn't really last that long, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take an edible, that shit is for life. Like I feel like you're locked in there and then you're like, I'm gonna be high forever. Like you think
Mm-hmm.
I went into this mental state that was like, I am stuck here. And then I think maybe like 6 or 7 hours later, it finally wore off. And then I was like, all right, let's have fun. And it's like nighttime.
No, I know. Well, I'm glad I've always done mine at night, but like every single time I've done something like that, it's always lasted me up until like bedtime. And then it's just like, oh, a new day.
Yeah,
Because I
no.
can't, it
So,
does last a long time. It seems
yeah.
like.
Well, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that has these like crazy experiences with edibles specifically. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
a joint is like fine. It can be kind of chill. I wouldn't recommend it when you've been drinking. I've had some bad experiences in California and Denver on that.
Yeah, I don't know if
But
I what that would be like. But they have, as far as edibles goes, they have changed the amount of milligrams in each little bite. So like beforehand, each one was like 10 milligrams. Like that was kind of the industry standard, and now it's like 5 milligrams per each edible. So you kind of have like
a
a little
half
bit more
Z's.
control, I guess, now.
Well,
Yeah. And you can take
no,
as much as you need
but
based
I
on
mean
your
the
desires.
But the problem is, and this is just like showing how much your girl is such a weedy, is like I think I had like a nibble. Like it's not
Really?
even yeah, I mean like I obviously had more than just a little like bunny rabbit
Mm-hmm.
nibble, but like I did not have like the whole I don't remember what it was. It was some sort of candy, obviously, but
When I was in college, we went on a like I traveled for cheer for the football games and stuff. So we had a game in Iowa. I know, sick and bears. So we had a game in Iowa, which quickly turned into the trip called the Iowa trip.
oh.
So there was this girl on my team who she had never had like a sip of alcohol, never touched anything, like the most innocent
Mhm.
person you can possibly imagine at Baylor University, which is already like calling
Yeah.
with innocent people. So
Yeah.
there was this guy on my team who brought brownies on the trip. And on our way home, like we were just leaving the hotel to go to the airport. And I specifically remember we were in the
Yeah.
van and she was like, "Hey, can I have a bite of that brownie?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so she takes like a small little,
Uh-oh.
like cutesy shared bite. So we get to the airport. I remember I'm doing homework. I'm sitting across from her and she takes a nap and she wakes up from her nap and she's like, "I feel so weird." And then she was like, "I feel like I'm in a dream right now." And she had no idea what was going
Oh.
on. And none of us knew that the brownie was like an edible that he had made. So
Oh,
she
that
goes
pure girl.
so she goes to the bathroom. All the girls follow her to the bathroom because everyone was just kind of like suspicious already. But no,
Yeah.
it was like the unspoken suspicion. So then our
Yeah.
coach kind of like was getting a little curious about what was going on. We were called to get on our flight. Everyone gets on the flight except for our coach and that girl. And she takes the girl to the hospital to go get tested. And it
Oh,
was
shit.
drama, drama, drama.
Wait, did she
So
get kicked off the team? What's the
no,
tea?
he did,
Because
because
he drugged her.
basically,
Whoa, that's
yeah. Like
messed up.
she was just kind of like she was a nice girl. She didn't like press charges or anything like that. But he got kicked off. This guy was like, he was a pretty good guy. But like even years later, he would request me to try to like pee in this bag to go get his drug tests done. He had like
Um,
a
bless
synthetic
his heart.
penis. Yeah, he was like
What?
he had this like synthetic like penis
Excuse me?
that had like a pouch attached to it because I think people watch you pee whenever you're getting drug tested. So it was like this full like prosthetic thing that he would try to get someone else's urine in this like whole like strap on situation and then like go get drug tested.
What?
And yeah,
Oh, I never
my
knew there was such a thing.
yeah, shop on Amazon. Let's check my
Wow.
Amazon store.
Wow.
But yeah,
That
that's like
is
a full
wild.
thing. Yeah, because I guess you like since people try to cheat it all the time, like people you now kind of have to watch it. So like they have it to where, it looks realistic to the thing. So yeah, and people needed my pee, but I never gave it out. I was just like, I'm not scheduling a time to meet up with you to pee so the temperature is still good for your like test. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
what? That's crazy. I feel like if you're in a position where you're needing to do that, like maybe I don't know, in my opinion, like you got to reevaluate.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
just think that that's too much. Like
I mean, I think we're at a point now where like the majority kind of well, I honestly have no idea. I haven't pulsed the room, but like I think marijuana is making its way to being legal nationally, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I mean drug tests are drug tests. I understand why they could be a thing in sports, especially whenever like we're holding another human or like at a workplace where things can be unsafe, you know what I mean? But
totally.
yeah, I think if you're in a spot where you're like trying to black market someone's pee, definitely reevaluate what's going on there.
Yeah, like there might be some deep-rooted problems. Like socially I think it's fine. Like I don't have a problem with it by any means. I just
Hmm.
like
Yeah, no. It's funny, I did like a research paper on marijuana when I was in college, not realizing how much of a pothead probably made me look like. But I like did research on like the economic value of it for like
yeah.
states and stuff, and just like the effects or lack of like effects that it has on people's bodies compared to other
Yeah.
like recreational influencers or whatever you want to call it. But
Mhm.
yeah, she did a little case study.
Oh, so she's
But
experienced. She is educated.
yeah, but based on personal experience, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, mine either. So, fully
I guess
agree
we'll
with
wait for
you.
the next one, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess are you swiping left or right on people who put 420 friendly in their bio?
It doesn't bother me. It bothers me and it doesn't bother me.
I think if it's your whole life, like come on.
Okay, so I
Like
had this
we're
conversation.
adults.
Yeah.
But I think that if it's like, oh, it's like the weekend or like I mean, I know that there are some like health benefits, I think, to like mental health type stuff where it does, I guess, help calm people. I don't know. But
I'm just glad you're saying this because I'm dittoing you so much right now. This is a conversation I had very recently. And I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
it's like I perceive it. I mean, everyone perceives it differently. So like to each their own. I've always perceived it as like a recreational thing. So like a
Yeah.
little fun, letting loose, let your hair down moment. But
Yeah, it's just like sometimes you just want to like kick your heels up and like have a little J.
I love Lonnie Blunt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I mean, I would never judge anyone who does it. I just think that like if you rely on it not for a medical reason, it's kind of I don't know. We're grown. But
Right.
then again, a bitch loves wine. So it's like we all have our thing. I can't judge, but I don't know.
Right.
That's just my thought. That's the
Hmm.
tea. Well, I hope you enjoyed lighting up with us. We definitely had a fantastic time. Um, as always, do the things, subscribe to us, share us, all this stuff, really. I don't feel
Support
like I
by
need
subscribing and sharing.
exactly. Just do what you need to do. And you know what you need to do. We've told you. So have a great day.
Bye.
Ta-ta.